As crocheters and knitters and crafters and just people who love to create with our hands and have these visions of the most perfect creations and gifts and everything, not just for ourselves, but also for our loved ones, especially as we go into the Christmas, Hanukkah, holiday gift giving season. And news flash, not everybody is crochet or knit worthy. As much as we might want to create for others, especially if we have stash to pull from where we can go, I can just make them a insert whatever the most perfect gift for your loved one, friend, coworker is. And I just wanted to bring up this conversation this time of the year because I feel like we can often feel so sucked into, but I can make just one more thing because, you know, we're not already running around trying to find other gifts or decorations or anything else last minute, or baking all the things or creating a menu, any of those other holiday activities, Christmas parties, all of the things. And, you know, of course, someone like myself got to throw birthday and anniversary parties and other stuff in there, and it is just absolute chaos. So if you are struggling to decide how you are going to cram in more and more handmade gifts, I really want to encourage you to ask yourself, but is the person worthy of all this time and effort and stress? Because not everyone is. And even for myself, I have learned to really pare back how much I am going to crochet, because typically I do crochet when I do Christmas gifts for other people. I just learned for me, it is better if I seriously limit myself and really have a goal of maybe only one person on my gift list that I am going to crochet for, and really try to stick to that. And then that kind of caps me off from getting too stressed out and starting all of the things, finishing none of them. What if I get stuck on one and it needs to go on timeout and it's not turning out right and I don't know why? And so I really feel like just focusing on one person, one creation has made my life so much easier. And it does allow me now, because I did start somewhat earlier this year than normally I would, you know, not in the week before Christmas, because I have been known to try to cram stuff in the week before Christmas or less. So I now have the time where either I can feel guilt-free to make stuff for myself and to keep finishing off whips that have been sitting around, or whatever the case may be. Or if I do decide, hey, you know what, I do kind of want to try making one last gift, I could. Currently, the only things I have made for Christmas 2025 this year is the nugless. This is the small nugless. This is a large nugless. These are on Etsy, the patterns. The yarn is, I want to say chenille home. It's a 7-weight held double with an eyelash yarn. And my particular Dollar Tree did not have, I don't know if they had any eyelash yarn from Premier. They usually have some. They didn't, or maybe it was just I didn't like the colors. So I did go ahead and order the Premier eyelash yarn. So these went super quick, an evening a piece. I think the only thing that took the longest was I did want to do an extra dab of glue on the safety eyes, even though these are going to an adult. Hopefully that's clear that these are going to an adult. My younger brother, he's in his 30s. So it was just waiting for the glue to dry before I stuff them and finish them off. That was the longest part of this, because I used an extra heavy duty glue just to make sure, because that fabric is so extra stiff, it was really hard to get a good snap on those backs. And that is not the fault of the safety eye provider that I used. So I may decide to go ahead and do the hand-shaped cactus, the Moody cactus, because let's be honest, I know what my brother actually wants to do. He's not going to pose it like this or any other thing. He's gonna go for it with that cactus. That's who he is. I've been known to do that. It happens. Anyway, I've gotten a little bit away from the topic of who is crochet worthy or knit worthy or craft worthy or whatever, but because I crocheted my gifts this year, crochet worthy. And this is really dependent on your family and your friends. And the factors that I consider are, obviously immediate family does get somewhat of a priority, and just because someone is immediate family does not necessarily mean I would put them on my crochet-worthy, knit-worthy, craft-worthy list. I'm just probably going to say crochet-worthy from here on out to make it simpler, because I'm looking at my immediate family and I know by and large they will certainly appreciate it. They've seen how much work goes into my stuff over the years. I've been crocheting since I was 5. They've seen what goes into all of my creations for the most part. So they would appreciate it. They would definitely at least do their best to take care of them. I have done several things for my mom over the years. Last year, she was the recipient of my only crocheted gift, and that was a little rat figure. And then I made like a rat cozy for her actual, live fancy rats that she does keep. I've also given her fingerless mitts, and I actually used some of my better yarn on that. That was just a request that she had. I've done quite a number of gifts for my dad. He takes care of all of them a little bit too preciously, in my opinion, because to me, I still want people to use and enjoy the items. So putting them on display, while it's nice to see my creations on display, it's like, okay, but you can use it. If it's a rug, you can use it as a rug. So I haven't gotten that into him, and I've just learned that really, for the most part, if I make him anything, is probably going to be on display. Although I did make him a hat one year, and he did actually wear that quite a bit, except that I need to make him a new one because it was a motorcycle hat with Yamaha on it, and I don't believe he has any Yamahas anymore. I think he just has, I think both of them are Harleys. I don't remember, but I know he started switching over to the Harley. He found some really great deals on some older used Harleys, and so yeah, maybe I'll get around to making that next year. We'll see. To me, it's like I still want to go into that thought of, are they going to appreciate it? Are they going to take care of it? And the other thing is, I have seen in other dynamics of families or friends or whatever, where there's a little bit of an attitude of like, oh, well, that's really cheap because you already have yarn, so you just didn't want to spend money on me. If you even slightly suspect that attitude, no, your time is worth more than any yarn you can buy. So those people can go take a hike. They're never getting anything from me if I ever run across them in my life. No, thank you. My time is mine, and if I thought I wanted to make something for you and I was willing to take time out of my personal leisure time, whether it's lunch breaks at work or whatever, or in the evenings, you should feel so grateful that I wanted to gift that to you on top of the yarn and any stuffing or any other supplies that go into it. And I also feel like people still feel like yarn is cheap. And perhaps they've really only been exposed to Red Heart, Super Saver, and that was back when it was like $2 a skein at like Walmart or wherever big box stores. And it's not. And yeah, there is some Dollar Tree yarn. I just talked about some options you can get from Dollar Tree, but you don't really get that much in those little balls. So then if you're doing a bigger project, you might actually end up spending more than, if you would have just gotten the big thing of yarn. So I think people still have that in their minds of like, yarn is basically free. No, it is not, especially not something like an alpaca wool blend that I made this sweater out of. And also just know the person you are creating for. It might be tempting to go, oh, I want to make them a sweater if it's someone that you really love and adore. But are they going to be the kind of person that spills spaghetti sauce on a light colored something? Are they just so klutzy that they're going to run into and it's going to get snagged? And I do know that accidents do happen. I have repaired things for family members that were genuine. It was an accident. It's not a big deal. It does happen for me. If I am gifting to my family, that is kind of part of the deal, is that I will basically you fix it indefinitely as long as you have it, unless you like let the dog have it, in which case, no, too bad, so sad. That's just me and how I like to, kind of have it be like a little bit of that forever giftness. Not that it's just totally destroyed and ruined until the end of time. And so if they're clumsy or, I don't know, just rip everything all the time, maybe not. Also, if you're creating like hats and scarves and mittens or whatever, and they're a very forgetful person, they lose things all the time, maybe skip the gift giving, the handmade gift giving for this person. I know family and friend dynamics can be kind of interesting in that sense, and that there are plenty of people in our lives who could be the "you could just make me" kind of a person, and they really don't think about what goes into that, the planning, any mistakes along the way and fixing it. What if the pattern is poorly written and then you're spending so much time trying to interpret what it means? These are very highly skilled things that we've learned along the way. It may not feel like that because there is such a boom in crochet and knitting, especially since 2020. But please value your time, your work, your skills, your effort, and please don't gift anyone to anyone. Please don't gift anything to anyone just because they asked. It's okay to tell someone you might not be able to right now, and that gives you a little bit of time to think about it, or go, oh, I'll consider that. Just really make it a very vague, non-committal answer so that you can kind of consider some of these aspects. Or if you think they're going to be the type of person that they might love it for 5 minutes and this time next year you will see it in your local Goodwill. And yeah, I've heard those stories too. So the other thing you might want to consider is the quality of the yarn. I love my family and friends oh so much. I really do. Am I going to make any of them an alpaca merino sweater as a out and out gift? Maybe my mom. And that's about it. And I am sorry if anyone in my family ever comes across this and gets like low key offended about it. My older brother does know about my channel. He has been expressly told he is not allowed to, try to track it down or watch it in any sense while we're talking about gifts and everything right now. Also, the cactus that I talked about earlier, I could get that started now. His birthday is in March. That is my goal for that. So it really just depends if I just get struck with I just really feel like making it because I don't feel like it would take terribly long. I really just don't see it happening. I am starting to get into that, I just want to finish at least one more whip that's been an older one hanging around, and I am kind of eyeballing a sweater that I want to go ahead and make. So as you are determining some of your last minute gifts, anything that you might want to try to whip out in these last couple weeks before the gift giving season, or if you are going into Hanukkah right now, trying to do a last minute thing and have it done in 8 days, I really want you to evaluate who it is you are crocheting or knitting or crafting or handmaking for, because your sanity is worth so much more than someone who will not appreciate it, who will toss it aside, and who will just simply not take care of it because they're just not that kind of person. Depending on the family or friend, if you are willing to put hand washing or any of those services as part of the gift, that's something to consider. I do know friends that are willing to do that. Generally speaking, I am not. So most people will be getting acrylic items for the foreseeable future, maybe cotton if there's a good cotton that's not too, shrinky or whatever, or yeah. So those are just some of my final thoughts for you to hopefully hang on to that last little bit of shred of sanity and inner peace as we head into what is supposed to be a season of love and maybe, yes, some giving, but more about our time together and family. And of course, if you're a Christian, just celebrating Jesus Christ in our homes and in our hearts. And I am wishing you just the best next couple of weeks. I really hope you have a joy-filled next couple of weeks, whether you are knitting and crafting with joy and you know the person is truly going to love it and appreciate it and cherish all of your hard work for the end of time. That's what I wish for you if that's what you are doing. If you have decided to do as I have done and largely go and purchase gifts that are also going to be equally appreciated, I'm giving you kind of like someone's permission, another crafter's permission to just let go of like the perfect crafty, yarny, whatever holiday season and do what is going to make sense for you. Anyway, those are just some thoughts in my head about gift worthiness as it relates to yarn and our time and our precious creative little notions that we come up with. As always, I really enjoyed hanging out with you in my Northeast Ohio home as it is snowing and blowing and just the most wintry wonderland season outside, and I cannot wait to visit with you in the next one. Bye!